In a tweet tonight, Australia's Prime Minister says rules are rules, especially when it comes to our borders. No one is above these rules. Joining us now for more is USA Today columnist and ABC News contributor Christine Brennan. Always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us, Christine.
Great to see you, Lindsay.
So Djokovic now heading home, and he has faced backlash for his vaccination status before this. Fair to say that this whole incident is just not a good look for tennis or for Djokovic as the Australian Open tries to kick off as the Omicron variant continues to rage?
That is true. It's a terrible look for Djokovic. I mean, and also I cannot imagine he's handling this well. He's got a pretty fiery temper anyway. But the thought that he was interrogated for hours in a little room with 2 police officers outside, according to his dad, and then you're told, you've won the Australian men's title 9 times, and you're basically kicked out of the country. That might give him a pause about why he's not vaccinated. But I'm sure he thought he was just going to saunter on into Australia and own the place. And, it's a fascinating look. And I think it's a wonderful decision, frankly, as messy as it appeared to be. Because, the facts are that Australia has gone through a lot, as we all have, over the pandemic, almost 2 years now. And the city of Melbourne, which hosts the Australian Open, had a 260-day lockdown. They've had it really hard. And this guy just comes on in and thinks he's going to, get away with it. Well, nope. Australia's told them a thing or two. And I think it's a great lesson for those who are not playing by the same rules as others. And in this case, Djokovic did not get away with it.
But of course, this isn't just a one-off. As you know, this is beyond Djokovic. We've seen in the NBA players like Kyrie Irving refusing to get vaccinated. At first, the Nets did not allow him to play because of restrictions in New York, but he's now making his season debut tonight on the road. Should teams, in your mind, and leagues as well, be setting an example and not allowing unvaccinated players to play at all?
Lindsay, I really hold these athletes, men and women, professional athletes especially, to a very high standard. I think that they're very important to our children. They're very important pillars of communities. They're role models, whether they like it or not. And they make a lot of money, and they deservedly so in many cases as entertainers. But that's a lot of money being paid by people who are watching and care about what they do. And yes, I would have said, if I were the commissioner of any sports league, and I'm not, I'm a journalist, but if I were, I would have said, you can't play unless you're vaccinated. Absolutely. And now it would be triple vaxxed. It would be, or double vaxxed, in other words, the booster as well. You've got to be a citizen, a good citizen. And by the way, you can always choose not to do that. And then, then you don't have to make millions playing a sport. Aaron Rodgers is a terrible, terrible example to anyone who cheers for the Green Bay Packers. And one wonders, is anyone paying attention to him to the point where they didn't get vaccinated, and who knows how they are right now, especially older people? I have no idea. But that reporting should be done someday about the damage that Aaron Rodgers did. And on it goes. And I just think, again, it is not a right to be an Australian Open participant. It's a privilege. It's not a right to be the Green Bay Packer quarterback. It's a privilege. It's not a right to be Kyrie Irving playing in the NBA. It's a privilege. And they make their choices, and they have to live with it. And really, it's unusual, because most of these guys get their way all the time. And all of a sudden now they're kind of finding out, maybe not. And that's fascinating.
And let's talk about the Olympics and COVID. China has a zero COVID policy of trying to contain all cases. You've covered countless Olympics. The Beijing Olympics are roughly a month from today. A veteran IOC member said this week that they could still be canceled. Do you think that the games will go on? And I might also add, do you think that they should go on?
Yeah, it's kind of a different answer for each one. That was Richard Pound, the IOC member, talking to me in a story that I broke, what was that, 2 days ago now, about that. It was a little movement, a crack, Lindsay, just a little sense that the IOC might be looking at this differently. But every time I followed up with a question, he thinks the games will go on. I do think that the games will go on unless there's just a huge worldwide outbreak where countries can't travel and where athletes just cannot get to China. And should they go on? Probably, not. Let's see what happens the next week or two in terms of the numbers and the cases. I'm here right now in Nashville covering the Olympics figure skating trials, and I am watching everyone around the official hotel not wear masks and skaters walking around with masks on. And I'm thinking, who's going to catch COVID here in Nashville because they're in Nashville? And it's a very precarious time for these athletes. If they test positive now, they're probably not going to have their lifelong dream of making it to the Olympics. So we'll see. But I'd say all systems are go until they're not in terms of the Beijing Olympics.
All right. We thank you so much, as always, for your time. Appreciate your insight, Christine Brennan.
Thank you very much, Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.